So how's it going, everyone? Yes, it's time for another collection update video. It's been a while, and along the way I've had a chance to get some more rare games for my collection, ones I need to finish off my PAL set, and this video really is the true update of, I think, the crown jewels, the hidden gems, one of the hardest subsets I needed to finish off for these two particular games in my collection. And I really do think not many people know about this if you know about the PS2 library and the PAL library as well. And especially when I do say in the video title, 2 rare games you never heard of, I'm not talking about Kuon or Rule of Rose. We've already got them. Oh no. You will find out what are these 2 obscure PAL games I got, what subset I finished off, and of course, the other games I'm adding to my list for my overall concept goal of this YouTube channel, trying to beat every physical PS2 game I can collect and beat in at least the PAL and North American libraries. Let's give you that update. So yes, it's time for that collection update video. At the moment, it's going to be a bit different than the last collection update videos. I was rocking a 2-camera setup, but I've had some technical issues on the YouTube side of things. One of my main video editing hard drives fried on me. I lost all the content for doing videos, and then also suddenly when I try to make a content video like this on a new setup, one of my webcams isn't working, but still, at least I can talk to you guys, get recording done of this collection update, and at least show off what is the most important thing, my collection update and the new games I'll be adding to my challenge. And at the moment, we were sitting at 2,384 PS2 games. And after the end of this video, we'll be crossing another milestone. We'll be definitely going into the 2,400 range of games in my collection. That is including a full PAL set, and then I'm also focusing on collecting the North American exclusives that never came out to PAL, and then also some Japanese titles that I think appeal to me or will be interesting to show off in video format and archived on this channel. Disclaimer, if you've never seen my content before, I'm not trying to collect every single Japanese game, because a lot of the content of Japanese market exclusivity is visual novels and pachinko slot machines. Pachinko slot machines are a weird beat goal for me, and they all kind of play the same. And the language barrier for those visual novels at the moment is really hard for me because I barely understand Japanese. And until maybe some sort of AI technology comes out to live translate stuff really quickly, I'll be giving them a pass at the moment, because I only use Google Lens to live translate stuff while streaming. Anyway, reversing back, we're here for the collection update video, and we'll start with the single Japanese game I'm adding to the challenge, the last of this series of games that came out on the PS2. That is right. It is, what is it? Yeah, Formula Front Armored Core. This was a Japanese-only exclusive, at least for PS2. This game did come out on the PSP, but was re-released in Japan on the PS2 as like an end-of-life re-release. It had some extra content on as well. Complete, but the only Japanese edition I'll be adding to this video update collection update. So with the Japanese only game I'm adding to the collection out of the way, we'll move on to the North American games I'm adding now. We'll save the big PAL hitters, and I'm quite excited about at the end. Until then, I'll show you off the North American games that are coming out. Not really any wild big hitters, but there are definitely some games I've been wanting for a while in my collection that never came out to PAL. And I'll start off with the only big box special edition I've got. We're going in alphabetical order, that is, as well. Karaoke Revolution American Idol Encore Edition. Yes, this is a game I'll be adding. It's a SingStar-like version from Konami. And even though the box is pretty battered and bent, believe it or not, this game is brand new sealed everything. The game was brand new sealed, and the microphone, to my knowledge, looks untouched. It's still sealed in the bag and everything. So someone clearly opened it up, was going to maybe play it, and never got round to doing it. But it is another singing game that I will beat one day in a challenge, and is now in my collection, American Idol Encore. Now we'll move on to the other games. These are all just games on its own, no more special editions. Going in alphabetical order, we'll start with Aero Elite Combat Academy. Yes, this is one of those games that never came out to PAL, and I'm really interested about this one. Why? It's by Sega, but more importantly, it's by AM2, the quite prolific guys behind the Outrun series and everything like that. I'm really interested to see what they've done with the engine and how they've done a flight sim combat game for the system. So yeah, be interested to see. Complete in box as well. What will it be like? I'm quite intrigued about this title. One day we'll find out. Now there's a little bit of a meme going on my channel. I only think with the word Saga gives people PTSD or people panic because it seems like I've been playing a lot of games with Saga in recently. Well, North America had an exclusive Saga game, but don't worry, it's not an RPG of incredible proportions, hopefully. It is the only other Dragon Ball Z game I needed, at least that is English translated. Dragon Ball Z Sagas. There are a lot of these games of the Dragon Ball Z series. You've got the Budokai games and the Tenkaichi games of 1, 2, and 3. So there's 6 there. You've also got Super Dragon Ball Z. You've also got Dragon Ball Z Infinite Worlds. All came out in PAL. And then this little guy here, Dragon Ball Z Sagas, remained in North America. Grabbed it now. Sadly, it is disc only. But when it comes to like trying to get the North American games, I'm not as bothered if they're cheap hitters. This was a cheap hitter. Luckily for me, it was a cheap price. So yes, still Dragon Ball Z Sagas added to the collection. Now I'll be showing off 2 games back to back of a franchise I wanted to finish off. There is still one more of this franchise I need. It's another North American exclusive. I'll talk more about it when I show them off. But I'm glad to finally get this pair of games that are both North American exclusives. And they are the Frogger games. Frogger Ancient Shadow and Frogger Adventure the Rescue. These 2 games never came out in PAL and play like the traditional Frogger style games. Like, you know, the tile-based hop around doing the thing. Not that cursed 3D platformer I've heard about. I haven't played it myself yet. But yes, these 2 games were North American exclusives. I do need one more Frogger game that is a North American exclusive. It's a weird line of education games that Konami brought out, involving Frogger and then other multiple things aimed for a very much preschool young market. But still, both the other Frogger games I needed are now part of my collection. And yes, if you're wondering, they are both complete in box. I definitely wanted to try and get these Frogger games complete in box because I was very curious about them. But I'm glad to have these 2 Frogger games in the collection. Now, if you watched some other content on my channel before, we found a hidden gem in PAL called Pool Shark 2, which had some of the edgiest, weirdest characters, and of course the beloved Ed Case being one of them. Well, in North America I noticed that there was also another kind of hustle pool game that was exclusive to them, and decided to grab it. And that is The Hustle Detroit Streets. It's got that T rating, so maybe we're hoping for some edginess in this one. Is complete in box. But yeah, curious about this one. Will it be as edgy and as interesting as and as charming as Pool Shark 2? Who knows? But one day we'll find out what North America was hiding when I play The Hustle Detroit Streets, added to the collection. Now, North America has 2 things that are exclusive to them that PAL didn't get a lot of, and that is there's a lot of racing games and a hell of a lot of sport games. In this collection update video, you're going to see some obscure racing games that you may or may not know depending on what region of the world you're from, and we'll update you now with some racing titles as well. This is one of the first ones. It is IHRA Drag Racing Sportsmanship Edition by, that's right, Bethesda. Bethesda Software did develop some racing games before they went full hard RPG and then consumed by Microsoft just recently. But yes, before then they were just making obscure games like this for many systems, including the PS2. But IRH Drag Racing Sportsmanship Edition, tongue-tied, is getting added to the collection. Another racing game, I won't really build up the hype too much. NHRA Drag Racing Countdown to the Championship. That's a hell of a long title, isn't it? By THQ. complete in box, and it's another racing game that I needed that never came out in PAL. What's more to say? Some sort of a lot of drag racing that seems to be around. But yes, another game added to the collection. Now, I've done my research about this, and I'm sure this one didn't come out in PAL. I do kind of look into a lot of things to make sure, double check, because I know there were some of this kind of style game in PAL. I'm sure we didn't get this one. It is a pinball game, but the Hall of Fame edition with the Williams collection of pinball tables. Now, I done my research on this, and I'm sure this guy never made it to PAL. We do have some pinball games, but I'm sure this one didn't. If I'm wrong, please someone correct me, but until then, I'm sure this is a unique title that never came out in North America and is now added to my collection. Now, it's time for quite an interesting one. I'm surprised this game never got a PAL release. It's a sequel to a game that did come out in PAL, and then the second one never did. I can only think maybe bad sales. I don't know, Sony didn't really trust it too much. But the sequel to the game, Mark of Cree, is, or Cry, I probably pronounced it wrong, is this. Rise of the Kasai. Yes, this game that was Sony published, developed, never made it to PAL. I'm surprised. I mean, it's complete in box with a little sticker on the disc, but I'm sure there's nothing problem with that. But still, yes, this was a game never that released in PAL. And I'm curious about the series now. I haven't even played the first one, let alone the sequel. But mature rating, maybe the violence was part of the reason why we never got this game. One day we'll find out, though. It's time for another racing game. It's the sequel, Sprint Cars 2 Showdown at El Dorado. Yes, it's another sprint car track racing game. What more can I say? THQ again. Vroom vroom, car racing. Didn't come out in PAL, to my knowledge. Added to the collection. Oh, it's time for another racing game. It is Short Track Racing Trading Paint by THQ again. Bit of a pattern, isn't it, going on? They did like churning out these games, complete in box. Will this be any different to the ones we've just seen, or will they all kind of play the same way, use the same engine? Who knows? But once again, it's another game for the collection that I didn't have, now being added. Time for another game in a huge franchise, still to this day, that's still going around, and is the only game that came out in North America and didn't come out in PAL, and that is Star Wars: The Clone Wars. This is obviously a game based on that CG kids teen show. Maybe the reason why this never came out in PAL Europe is maybe this show wasn't shown over in our side of the waters. I don't know too much about it. I don't really follow Star Wars too much. But yes, this game in particular is one of the only North American Star Wars exclusives, but is the last Star Wars game, to my knowledge, that I needed for the PS2, and is now a part of the collection to be beaten and played one day. And finally, for the North American side of things, two more racing games from a more prolific, celebrated, enjoyed series by fans. And there were some games that were only North American exclusives, never came out to PAL, and that is these ones in particular. The Tokyo Extreme Racer games. That's right, these are 3 games. Well, actually, I'll go further into it in a minute. But these 3 games I thought were North American exclusives. We'll start with Tokyo Extreme Racer 3. This definitely never came out in PAL. Being added to the collection. Can't wait. Yes, it is complete in box. And another game added to the series. And then we do have Tokyo Extreme Racer Drift, another game that was only released in North America and Japan, and also complete in box, another game I can't wait to play. And with that, I also decided to buy Tokyo Extreme Racer Drift 2. But, to my surprise, this game did come out in PAL, but it had a completely different name. That's right, Tokyo Extreme Racer 2 Drift 2 is actually Kaido Racer. which I only annoyingly when I bought it, when I buy North American exclusive games, I like to look in a bit more. Wish I did it before because I had to spend like £20 on this game. But by the by, looked into it and they're one and the same in content. They must be. Kaido Racer was just we decided in PAL to embrace the Japanese name, while in North America they decided to embrace their continuation of the Drift series. Still, this was a game I was going to add to the collection, but don't need to because we already had. So that game count ain't going up. And now finally we're on to the PAL content, the games that I need to get to that true goal of getting every PAL game. Asterix. I'm not including all SingStar variants, and I'm not including all the Buzz variants, like all the Brain of the Oz, France, Germany. And I'm not really including a lot of the SingStar variants, at least now I'm not including all them variants. One, because I would absolutely butcher singing their regional dialect in my terrible English voice. But, you know, at the moment I'm trying to just collect every exclusive, unique PAL game that has a video game unique to the title it came out. Like I say, like all the Buzz games kind of the same, but with different questions for different regions. The SingStar variants, some of them are like, you know, Russian hits, Polish hits, German hits. Like, they're all covered under their own flag. Anyway, I'm blabbering on. These are PAL games I needed. One's a kind of a variant, and then of course we've got the two very big hitters that I'm sure you're wondering, or maybe you already knew. You're like, if it's not them, I know what he's going to show off. Either way, I gave you some hints. It's to finish off a subset I needed. We'll go that way as we carry on with the video. Starting with games that I'm surprised I didn't own, and we'll start with this one. It's this. I love people in my community that look through my lists and go, you don't have this game, and this was one I didn't own. It was Destruction Derby Arenas. Thank you very much to, I can't remember who it was now that pointed it out. But, yeah, they said, Koos, you still need this game in your collection, which is great because I love adding a cheap title to my collection rather than, like, you know, an obscure title I need to spend 3-figure sums for. But Destruction Derby Arenas is getting added to the full PAL set. Now, this next one is more of a variant, so it's not going to get updated to the count, but will probably be the definitive version of the game I play in my challenge, and that is Australian variant exclusive Ford Street Racing XR edition. Now, this is obviously an edition that only Australia got, which is a revision of the Ford Street Racing game. What makes it so special, the XR edition? Well, they decided for the Australian market to add some signature cars, very much like reminiscent for the Australian market. So yeah, this is a very weird, obscure variant that only came out in Australia. I'm not going to add it as an extra game count, but I'll be playing this one because it has extra cars and extra content. You know, it's very much the same of the other games apart from a few extra, like, DLC cars. So yeah, but still, Ford Street Racing XR Edition is a part of my collection. I'm very glad to have it. Now, this next one, some people might be going, what? But this is just as rare as the other games you're going to be showing off. But some people might know about it because it's from, like, more of an infamous subset, but it's a game I needed, and I did spend some money on this one as well. It is Jello. Yes, it's, of course, if you know your games, a Phoenix game that came out on the PS2. One of their many, like, puzzle-like, arcadey style games. Complete in box as well, may I add. So, yes. I'm very close to my Phoenix full collection. I believe I only need one more Phoenix game now, and that is, obviously, one of the biggest hitters on the system, and that is Ocean Commander. I believe that might be the only one I need. I'll double-check my list, but this is one of the last two I needed. Now I only need the hunt for Ocean Commander to get my full Phoenix game subset. Still, Jello getting added to the collection. Another game that kind of went under the radar, didn't know about it. I knew I had Sven-Goran Eriksson World Championship or something, but I didn't know there was also a football management game as well. The front cover of this game looks exactly the same as the other one, except instead of blue, it's got like a red tint to it. But this is the management version, and then there's also like a version where you actually play the football, kind of like the FIFA-like style. Still, it's a game I didn't own. It's a different game in itself, and another game, a cheap one luckily, to be added to the collection. Another one of these games, I should have really added it at the beginning. It's a numbered game, but I can't believe I didn't have this. I know about this game. It's common knowledge, and it's, you know, something that I deeply, deeply know. Can't believe it until someone told me in the community that I didn't own it, and that is 18-Wheeler. How the hell did I not have this game yet? Complete in box, obviously one of the Sega classic arcade banger racing games. I must have got confused with King of Route 66. Completely forgot about this one. I now own it, and yeah, it's now part of the collection. Still couldn't believe I completely forgot this and it went under the radar. But now we have the banger that is 18-Wheeler. And now, finally, it's time to show off. I'll show them off both at the end of the video. It's time to show off the rarest PS2 PAL games I'll probably get or need. These are so... one I thought I would never find. There's one online I see every now and then, and it's asking for silly, silly money. But then there's another one in this set. I never see it for sale. Maybe once a year. I watch it. I leave it on my watch list for eBay. It popped up. There's a sale of this that popped up in Canada. Like earlier this year. We're talking 2025, depending on when you're watching this video. But I never see one of these games on sale. And when I show off the front covers of them, yes, these aren't bootlegs. These are legitimate copies. And it's from the Indian subset of games. And it's these two games in particular. Yes, these actually are official PS2 games licensed by Sony when they were doing their like little video game push in the Indian region. And that is the mouthful of the Medical and Engineering Joint Exam Quiz, and the less mouthful game World Quiz 2009. But these are legitimate PS2 games. These were the last two I needed in my Indian subset, and they are real. They work on any official PS2 if you put them in, and I'm so glad to have them. This is the one here, World Quiz 2009. I don't ever see on sale. It's insane. It must have had such a low print run. This one you do see now and then, but this one, holy hell, I'm so glad to have it. I definitely must have bought this off of a collector who had it in their collection and needed to sell it on. Thank you very much to the person that did. It's gone to another great home and person that cherishes it and trying to get every PAL game. And these were two, especially this one, I thought I would never find, especially at a fair price. I thought I would never, ever find this game. But I did. I'm so glad to have it. And that is the last two games I needed to finish off that subset that was the Indian PAL exclusives. So that is the collection update video, and as you saw, we've crossed that 2,400 game mark in my journey of trying to collect at least every unique English release game, all the PAL set, then plus the North American set. And as a collector, and as I've been doing this content and stuff, that full 100%, well, that full PAL set, you know, as I mentioned earlier, the variants, I'm so close to getting like a full PAL set minus variants. I need, funny enough, I was looking through my list, I actually need some Guitar Hero games still, which aren't too hard to find, apart from the Australian release exclusive Guitar Hero Van Halen. It did come out in North America, but Van Halen only seemed to have an Australian release. I don't know why, making it really limited print run, making it really rare to find. I need to get that. There are still some SingStar games that had like an English release variant as well, from like iconic bands. One of the rarest SingStar games I need is SingStar Kent. I've seen that some people like, there's collectors that definitely have SingStar Kent in their collection. I probably would definitely want to at least count all the SingStar games that were banned, like, you know, official banned release ones. Like, as mentioned earlier, the variants I may get later down the line, the German hits, blah, 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 blah. We've gone there. But there are two main big hitters. If I can find them, I pretty much am at the end goal, the finish line of this true challenge. And that is, well, I need Ocean Commander, the last Phoenix game to my knowledge, on the PS2. That is one of the big hitters I'm looking. That's easy going to be like well over in the £300. Like with the ones they are lucky enough. There are copies I see though, so it's not a bad thing. I see a copy come up every like 3 or 4 months, and I hover over it. It's in my watch list. It's in my basket. I'm like, oh man, I want to buy it so badly, but you know. Luckily, I hold off. When you've got like a bit of disposable income, you hold off because I knew Ocean Commander was available, and when World Quiz came up, luckily my disposable income was like, needed to get that before someone else get it, because you get FOMO, sadly, when you get collecting and you get the rare ones. Anyway, yeah, Ocean Commander is one, and the other one I need, this is one more that's a bit harder to find and has a way pricier range. It's getting a bit more known around the collectors as well, so it's getting snapped up, and that is Sengoku Anthology. It is a very rare arcade compilation game that came out in PAL, one of like the last of its ever releases from SNK, and that game, I mean, that's if you're speaking in the UK of price-wise range, £500 is kind of like the sweet spot. Dips below it a bit, goes up a bit, but they're all sold in like France and Germany, and then when you buy it, you know, especially if you buy games from France, you get taxed on it, and like that will go to like the import charges. You got to pay more on top. It's gonna be insane. But if there were two big hitter PAL games I still need, yes, it is Ocean Commander, Sengoku Anthology. If I could get them, and I could probably easily grab the rest of them, I pretty much will have a full PAL collection, as I said before, Asterix. I really do want to get a full PAL set because I have a little mini project I want to do, kind of my magnum opus involving another game. If you know, you know. Some of my community know what I want to work on already. If I can get a full PAL set, there is a video I want to make which will take ages to make for me, but I so want to make it. And once I get a full PAL set, I will let everyone know about that concept as well while doing this challenge. But by the by, that is that. And hopefully one day, very, very soon, or at least in the distant future, I could get more money saved up and grab those last two real big hitter PAL games and be so happy to have a full PAL set. But that's that. But thank you for watching, everyone. That is my collection update. The North American games, the single Japanese game, and the PAL games, including those big hitters, getting close to that full PAL set, as I said before. Thank you for watching. I mean, I usually make YouTube video review contents about the PS2 games I've been beating as well in my side challenge. Sorry about that. That content will be coming out. And also a last little shout out, or really like a public service announcement. I really am interested if there's anyone that knows about like unreleased PAL developer games. I'm especially intrigued about 505 games. Now, I love the Simple 2000 games, and while I do my research, I see box arts about unreleased PAL 505 games that were definitely based on some of the Simple 2000 games that we obviously stayed in Japan and never came out to Europe. But 505 games were deeply involved with localizing some of them. And there are definitely some games like the Bushido. I think they were so close to bringing that out. So if anyone knows about any prototype builds or anything about that, I'm really intrigued to explore about that content as well. I definitely saw there's a North American game I still need called Cubics. It's based off of the Toonami 3D CGI TV show that I remember watching as well a little bit about the character Cubics. It does have a North American release, but I remember when I was on eBay about a year or 2 years ago, someone had a promo disc of Cubics, the PAL version. Now, I don't know if that was legitimate, so I didn't buy it. It was quite a price as well. They were asking for like £100, and it's rough to drop £100 on a promo disc that is it real? Does it exist? But anyway, if you know anyone that has like some secret knowledge of hidden prototypes. I'm sure other people ask about this all the time. But as an archiver and investigator and someone that's trying to beat and explore the PS2 games, I also would like to know if there's any unreleased PAL games. I mean, one that people found out about was Polaroid Pete 2. Someone found a promo disc of that and was able to upload it online, and now we can all enjoy what was a Japanese exclusive Genkibo 2, which I own. It did actually have a power release, or nearly had a power release, from Virgin Entertainment. So yeah, long story short, if you know anyone about that, I'm gladly you could reach out to me. However you want to reach out to me, I'd love to know if there's some hidden stuff out there. I'd love to get like a dump, burn it on a disc or whatever. I have a region-free console I can play like backups and that of any hidden prototype games. Reach out to me. Would love to know about those obscurities as well. But apart from that, I'm waffling on. Thank you all for watching this collection update video. Review videos should be back soon. The technical issues I think are starting to get fixed, but at least I can bring something out for what people have been asking for, a little mini collection update video. Either way, thank you for watching my stuff. See you next time, either on a live stream or when I've got another video coming out. Until then, thank you for watching this collection update video.